Can you purchase a home after bankruptcy? In this episode, we're going to talk about that. Welcome everyone to this episode of the AskJasonGelios show. I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor. Really appreciate you guys tuning into this episode. As always, I ask whether you're new to this show or existing. If you're not following me on social media, go ahead and click one of those links or all of those links in the description below. Choose your poison. Whatever social media platform you're on. Hey, if you think I should be on a platform, go ahead and comment below. But otherwise, and also visit my website. It's allabouttherealestate.com. Now, I had a great question about buying a home post-bankruptcy. And so I've gotten asked this before, but I wanted to basically answer this question on this episode. So I put together some stuff for you that I think you'll find interesting, okay? Now, you can absolutely purchase a home after bankruptcy. Many times credit scores will reevaluate and readjust after a bankruptcy. Now, bankruptcy can stay on your credit report for, I believe, about 10 years. Could be 7 for different types of bankruptcies. I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, and I'm not going to dive into how long it stays on your credit and all that fun stuff, but that just gives you an idea. I have known some people that have filed bankruptcy and very soon after it was, I guess, released, they've gotten tons more credit card offers and loan offers and all this stuff. So it's pretty interesting. Okay, now the subtopic here is buying a house using government-backed loans after bankruptcy. And so you can do things like a FHA loan, a VA loan, things like that. And so I just want to dive into the FHA part. And I'm going to share with you pretty much what they will consider. Now, by the way, ask your lender, okay? You know, things change all the time, especially in lending. Ask your chosen lender, hey, I had a bankruptcy, which if you have them run your credit, they'll see that. What do I do? Okay, but FHA loan, okay, which is a great option for first-time home buyers, although you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to go FHA, but most first-time home buyers, the percentage was very high of first-time home buyers using FHA. But for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, because there's Chapter 7 and Chapter 13, I believe. So Chapter 7, it says, FHA will consider you for a mortgage 2 years after your Chapter 7 discharge, so when it's released, okay? You'll have to show a positive credit history for at least 2 years. We know that lenders go back 2 years for income and all that fun stuff, okay? Not having credit doesn't mean that you'll be knocked out, although you'll have to prove other forms of what they call trade lines, okay? Things that you're paying on regularly. But pretty much, if you can show that FHA, the FHA lender, that the conditions leading to your bankruptcy were not your fault, were out of your control, I should say, then that could help. For example, let's say a spouse passes and you had a hard time paying the bills, things like that. That could happen, actually. Or medical issues. I've seen that before with some clients. Medical bills get out of hand. Then FHA would reduce the waiting period to 12 months. You have to provide documentation demonstrating all that, of course. Now, Chapter 13 for FHA loan, Chapter 13 bankruptcy, FHA will guarantee a mortgage as soon as 12 months after you file your Chapter 13 case. That's after you have actually filed. And if you're making Chapter 13 payments on time, you can show that you can afford the mortgage payments. Pretty interesting. And you also have to get permission from the bankruptcy court to take on a new mortgage, new debt. Okay, so you got to ask them. Now, let's skim over the VA loans. Now, military veterans like VA loans. It's a great option, actually. I have had several clients go VA. Very good option for purchasing a home. There's no real down payment requirement. Okay. Now, VA mortgage loans require a 2-year waiting period after Chapter 7 discharge, when it's actually discharged, and that's when they complete it. But during the waiting period, you'll need to keep your credit very clean because most lenders participating in the VA program do require a minimum score. Okay. And there may be some special bankruptcy rules. Okay. Now, I want to share with you conventional loans, and this is your 30-year fixed, your 15-year fixed, maybe a 5/1 ARM, things like that. Okay. So conventional loans, which they're not backed by the government. Okay. And they're often sold, right? Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They have guidelines for what mortgages they're going to purchase. And so that's how the lenders come up with their guidelines in a nutshell. Okay. Now, buying a home using a regular conventional loan, okay, Chapter 7 bankruptcy says if the bankruptcy was due to financial mismanagement, you have to wait 48 months. But if the bankruptcy was out of your control, you'd be eligible after 24 months. Okay, so a little bit shorter, like I mentioned earlier in this episode, where you had a spouse that passed, maybe medical bills caught up, and you weren't able to pay your bills. Okay, hardship happens. But if you just went out and spent a bunch of credit cards, right? Spent a bunch of money on credit cards and bought all this stuff and just said, "Oh, I'm just gonna file," probably not gonna fly. Chapter 13 bankruptcy, you must wait 24 months after discharge. If the court dismisses your case without a discharge, the waiting period increases, and this is the waiting period to get a mortgage, by the way. The waiting period will increase to 48 months. But if you can show that you filed the case under extenuating circumstances, right, you'll have to wait only 24 months. So I'm throwing a lot at you. There's a lot of guidelines and things like that. The best thing to take away from this episode and this answer to this question about buying a home post bankruptcy is that, one, ask your bankruptcy attorney, hey, what can I do here? And then two, if you file and apply for a mortgage, right, a mortgage approval, speak with the lender. Let them know in advance, actually, before they run your credit. Say, hey, I file bankruptcy, whatever date, month, year, what do you think? And a reputable lender will let you know exactly what's going on. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about multiple bankruptcy cases. So if somebody has filed more than one bankruptcy in the last 7 years, then it will be 5 years before you're eligible, or 3 years if you can show, again, extenuating circumstances, hardship, something forced you to file bankruptcy, you were over your head. Okay. But it's still shorter than the 7 years that Fannie Mae requires after a foreclosure. Pretty interesting, right? So again, a lot of information. You speak with your lender, say, hey, can I do this? Speak with your bankruptcy attorney, the court. Okay. Now, I want to share briefly about share this little tidbit here that I have about post-bankruptcy scores and home buying. Now, most filers will find that bankruptcy will hurt their credit score for a little bit of time after bankruptcy. Chapter 7 bankruptcy can stay on your credit for up to 10 years from when you filed. A Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which from what I know, it's not as complete of a wipe of debt. It can carry less of a stigma because debtors, people who file a bankruptcy case, can actually make payments to creditors under a court-approved repayment plan. So you file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, the court says, okay, credit card A, credit card B, credit card C, you're going to be getting this amount from them, and it's a repayment plan. But overall, the impact of bankruptcy on your credit will go away with time. So I think if you're having a hardship and you got to do that, that's fine. Just know that it will affect your credit for some time. But again, I've seen people get, some clients that they've gotten multiple credit card offers and all this stuff after they file. Then I don't know. That's what the credit card companies do. So I hope you guys found this valuable. Do me a favor and visit my website. It's allabouttherealestate.com. This pop-up pops up, and you can actually put in your name, your email, and you can receive this show and other valuable tips about homes and whatnot in your email once a week. And also follow me on social media. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe and hit that bell. For all of you watching on Rumble, I really appreciate the Rumbles, and the likes and the comments. I really appreciate you guys watching. I'm enjoying the platform. So I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks everyone for watching this episode of the Ask Jason Gelios Show. Be sure to visit the links in the description below to pick up your copy of my real estate book, Think Like a Realtor. It's a little book about buying and selling residential real estate through the eyes of a realtor. It's real world advice, tips, whether you're a new agent in the business or you are a home buyer or even looking to sell a home. This is great advice. So I really appreciate it. If you guys visit those links, pick up your copy, and go ahead and share a review, good or bad, if you like it, if you hate it, okay? But get your copy today. Thank you.